A very good morning to you all. I think it's, as he remarked, quite a chilly day today, but I think inside it's quite warm, and we are going to have productive discussions. My colleagues on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here to share my thoughts on this very relevant theme for the development of the country. As we all know, villages have always been a vital part of Indian civilization. But even today, close to 70% of Indian population lives in villages with suboptimal social and economic conditions. And this is in spite of the fast pace of urbanization in India. Many villages, in fact, most of them, face severe challenges relating to lack of livelihood opportunities and overdependence on agriculture, as well as low quality of life due to lack of basic services in villages. These stem from the fact that the rural populations usually tend to be small and often dispersed. Economic activity base is generally fragile, with diminishing returns setting in agriculture. Employment opportunities are often lacking. Access to social, economic, and digital infrastructure is severely restricted. Information flows through narrow and uneven channels, and there are, in many villages, emerging problems of environmental pollution and conflicts. It's no wonder in this backdrop that rural people have been migrating to cities in quest for better livelihood opportunities and better quality of life. Question arises, why smart villages? I say, why not? If we are talking of smart cities, why not smart villages also? In fact, smart cities are not possible without having smart villages. Smart villages are a good way to ensure that rural areas are not left out of the development agenda, even as cities boost their infrastructure. The rising burden on urban cities due to migration also emphasizes the need to transform villages so that they can meet the critical as well as aspirational needs of the villagers, putting a check on large-scale migration from village to big cities. Transformation of rural regions with smart cities will lead to inclusive economic growth, with digital and financial inclusion realizing the true potential of digital India. There is no doubt that smart villages are vital for sustainable and secured future of India. But what is exactly a smart village? While this phrase has become a buzzword in policy and rural development discussions across the world, developed as well as developing nations both, there is really no universally accepted definition of a smart village. The conceptualization of smart village therefore varies from country to country depending on the level of development, willingness to change and reform, resource availability, and aspirations of the village inhabitants. A smart village would therefore have a different connotation in India than, say, in Europe. Even in India, in fact, there is no one way of defining a smart village. Different organizations have been using different meanings of smart village in different contexts. However, Smart Village in India may be somehow viewed as an initiative focused on holistic rural development derived from Mahatma Gandhi's vision of Adarsh Gram, that is ideal village, and Swaraj. Unlike many other countries, India being a very vast country, Indian villages are located in different geographies and ecosystems with vast differences in terms of needs, cultures, values, and norms. Hence, smart village in India does not imply a one-size-fits-all solution. However, there is a need to have a broader understanding of the concept with some common elements. Ultimate goal of smart village is better quality of life for its citizens. In this sense, a smart village can be defined to have the required basic social and infrastructure amenities for all, improved governance and service delivery through the use of e-governance, sufficient improved livelihood or employment opportunities within or in nearby villages, a clean and sustainable environment, and Above all, enhanced livability in the villages. I said these could be some common elements, irrespective of whatever definitions we may be using. Now, what will be the role of technology in smart villages? Technology and innovations to improve the lives of rural people are critical to development of smart villages. A smart village would have smart energy, smart connectivity, smart agriculture, smart education, smart health, smart infrastructure, smart solid waste management, and smart environment enabled by technology in order to ease life of villagers in every possible way. Since most of the villages in India are small areas, to get benefits of scale and viability, cluster approach may be more beneficial for developing small villages with preparation of a village development plan with active involvement of local community. Now let me just have a look of what are the ongoing efforts to develop smart villages. Many initiatives are being implemented the world over to make villages self-sustainable by using smart technologies like ICT and reduce migration to urban areas. Government of India is also well aware of the challenges and has been implementing several programs across different sectors for holistic development of villages, that is human, economic, social, and personal development dimensions. Besides, many state governments are also working on smart village programs. The responsibility of implementing these programs had been taken up either directly by the state government themselves or jointly with non-government organization or corporates, etc. Even though the aim of the program is largely same, the focus areas may be quite different in different programs. I'll just briefly touch upon some of the central government initiatives and more specifically the initiatives taken by my ministry, Ministry of Rural Development. All of you know about Digital India, which is not really a specific program. You can say it is a kind of mega program encompassing several sub-programs. It's an ambitious program aiming to reduce digital divide between rural and urban areas. And internet connectivity is the key to digital adoption. BharatNet, world's largest broadband connectivity program, we have officials from Ministry of Electronics sitting here, aim to connect 2.5 lakh GPs with high-speed optical fiber network by 2019. Real push has come from using the GEM Trinity, comprising of Jan Dhan account, Aadhaar identity, and mobile phone to enable rural people's participation in the digital and finance space. Further, digitally enabled common service centers at Gram Panchayat level are taking e-services to every corner of the country. They promote digital and financial inclusion, encourage rural entrepreneurship, and offer a bottom approach to social change in villages. Direct benefit transfers under 440 welfare schemes across 56 ministries enabled by the GEM Trinity have made the transfers efficient and transparent and saved more than rupees 90,000 crore till March 2018. Similarly, there are a large number of technology-based initiatives in the field of agriculture, education, health, public distribution system, etc. for the benefit of rural areas. Coming to the Ministry of Rural Development programs, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, shortly called SAGI, this was launched by the Honorable Prime Minister in 2014. It aims at creating holistically developed model Gram Panchayats through the convergence of existing government programs. An Adarsh Gram, ideal village, is expected to evolve out of people's shared vision, using their capacities and available resources, duly facilitated by the honorable members of parliament, the Gram Panchayat, the civil society, and the available government machinery. The SAGI Gram Panchayats prepare village development plans encompassing personal, human, social, and economic dimensions through a participatory process. Adoption and adaptation of technology and introduction of innovations are critical to the success of this program. The honorable MPs have adopted close to 1,500 gram panchayats across the country for development under SAGI so far. And let me share with you, right now, 10-11 universities across the country are actually evaluating to what extent this program has been successful in creating ideal villages. I think another 4 to 5 months we will have results of this exercise and will know to what extent this program has been successful. There is another scheme of the ministry, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Rural Mission, launched in 2016. This is actually a very ambitious attempt to transform rural areas into economically, socially, and physically sustainable spaces. The mission aims at making villages smart and growth centers of the nation. The scheme proposes mobilization of funds through convergence of various government schemes, as well as critical gap funding, with first phase target to develop a cluster of 300 ODF, green, agro-based and thematic clusters by 2019. These clusters will have basic social and digital infrastructure, skilled manpower, and access to economic opportunities. The states have identified the clusters as per the thematic strengths, and so far 66 agriculture clusters, 18 SME clusters, and 22 tourism clusters have emerged from the first 98 clusters. This was about the 2 specific schemes of our ministry. There are several other schemes of the ministry which are focused on provision of employment and livelihood opportunities and skill formation. I'll not go into those schemes. I'll just briefly discuss the use of ICT and other technologies by the ministry to ensure effective implementation of its various programs. We have a vast number of real-time MISs providing geotagged photos of created assets enable efficient implementation, which ensure transparency and accountability. In fact, today afternoon, right now, the ministry is having its performance review committee, annual committee meeting with the various states. And in the afternoon, I'm going to talk about how IT systems are helping the smooth implementation of the ministry's programs. And today morning, I was preparing the presentation. I am heading the IT team in ministry, and to my amazement, I found all the various websites, program, etc. They are close to 35. I mean, when I counted them, even I was amazed. Under PMAY, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, geotagging of houses documents, that is the use of using the space technology, documents the release of installments based on the progress of construction of houses with photos at regular stages. Depending upon the stage of construction, the money is released. Similarly, more than 30 million assets have been geotagged on Narega Soft MIS, which includes entries from roads and ponds to plantation and toilets, etc., built under MG Narega from 2000 until now. Each and every small asset created under the scheme over last so many years is now geotagged along with the lat-long details, photographs, everything. Any citizen, this is a publicly available MIS, anybody can see these photographs. So these are complete with geolocations, photographs, starting dates of construction, dates of completion, and cost, among other details. So this is also about transparency. Government employees are given in the rural villages incentives per entry over and above their salaries to feed data into the relevant mobile apps. This is enabling people working at the village level, such as panchayat members, frontline health workers, school teachers, self-help groups, etc., who have been trained to carry out surveys and transactions on their devices, to crowdsource information with a bottom-up approach and leverage digital tools to bring in efficiency in their roles and responsibilities. In addition to creating vast employment opportunities in the rural areas, this is also creating a cadre of digitally literate and digitally functional individuals at the village level who can help make their villages self-reliant. Most of the schemes of the ministry, including the flagship Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Manrega, are using direct benefit transfers to directly pay into beneficiaries' bank accounts through electronic fund management systems. In fact, 99% of all the payments in the ministry are being made using the electronic fund management systems. Various citizen-centric mobile apps such as Gram Samvad, Awas app, and Jio Manrega aim to empower the rural citizens by providing direct access to information at the palm of their hand and improve accountability to the people. Then there is state-of-art Disha dashboard, which is a remarkable step towards participative governance to facilitate real-time monitoring of 42 welfare schemes. This is a dashboard which is under development by people's representatives, MPs, MLAs, and even representatives at lower levels, and help to initiate ongoing course correction. So, what has been the impact of all these ICT-related initiatives and monitoring? They have created a robust, transparent implementation framework with accountability in partnership with the states. This is helping timely funds transfer to implementing agencies. So, we have a concept, we call it just in time. You know, earlier like funds would be transferred to states and agencies below, and they will not be used for a long time. And as you know, government funds have a cost attached to them. They may be borrowed from the market. So now we are having funds just in time. They will be released when they are needed, so that we don't take unnecessary funds from the government. So this is reducing cost of using the funds. This is substantially improving transparency and accountability, and ensuring that the right benefits reach the right beneficiary at the right time. They reach beneficiaries in time, the full amount, and to the targeted beneficiaries. Efforts are being made using the ICT technology that they don't go to the wrong beneficiary. Time does not permit me to go into the details of those processes. Then we have got a scheme, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. It is a scheme for the construction of connecting to rural habitations through roads. This scheme is aggressively encouraging use of green technologies and non-conventional materials like waste plastic, cold mix, geotextiles, fly ash, iron and copper slag, etc. The ministry has so far sanctioned more than 35,000 kilometer length of roads using new technologies, out of which 23,000 kilometers have already been completed. Let me also mention that our ministry carried out 2 special campaigns in 2018. One was Gram Swaraj Abhiyan in 2018, with objective to reach out to poor rural households, enhance livelihood opportunities, re-emphasize national priorities such as cleanliness, etc., strengthen Panchayati Raj institutions, and promote social harmony. Under this campaign, several flagship schemes were saturated in selected 17,000 villages across the country. Then, and I must share with you that more than 1,000 central government officials visited these selected villages. They stayed in the villages, they made several trips, senior people and all, and effort was made to ensure the 7 flagship schemes relating to welfare of rural citizens. The villages were saturated. Saturated means that whosoever was eligible to get those benefits in that village, effort were made that that person got that benefit during that campaign period. Then after 2-3 months, in a larger version, campaign was carried out as extended Gram Swaraj Abhiyan in 117 aspirational districts in about 50,000 villages. So earlier we experimented with 17,000 villages, this time with 50,000 villages, similar thing. Why these campaigns were taken? The rationale is that being able to do saturation in selected number of villages successfully will give us tremendous confidence to replicate the same in other villages. And over time, more and more villages can be covered under various schemes. Now, taking a different dimension of the smart village concept, the adjective smart in the context of smart villages tends to be narrowly associated with infrastructural development and ICT-based services, ignoring the idea that people must be at the center of the development. If it is truly sustainable, a village can only be as smart as its citizens want it to be ultimately. There is need to strengthen their ownership of development process, and stakeholders start perceiving themselves as not just the beneficiaries, but as drivers and architects of the development of their village. A people's plan campaign, Sabki Yojana, Sabka Vikas, which, let me translate, this is a Hindi slogan into English. Planning for all and development for all, that is what it means, has recently concluded on just 10th January, in which Gram Panchayats in rural areas were required to prepare a need-based Gram Panchayat development plan for 2019-20. This campaign started in October, from 2nd October, so October, November, December. It continued for 3 months across each and every GP in the country. It involved convergence with schemes relating to 29 subjects listed in the 11th schedule of the Constitution, which are allowed to Panchayati Raj institutions in the country. During the campaign, structured Gram Sabha meetings were held for preparing Gram Panchayat development plans. Plan plus MIS, this is, Plan plus MIS does not belong to Department of Rural Development, but our sister ministry, Ministry of Panchayati Raj. And this facilitates preparation of GPDP. It also helps to identify village-wise gaps in infrastructure development, human development, economic activity, social capital, financial inclusion, etc. From baseline survey data and carried out under Mission Antyodaya, which is another program of the ministry, and designs area-specific interventions. So now, in a large number of GPs, we have got village-wise gap analysis. We know in this village, this is available, school is available, up to what level, hospital is available, but what is lacking? So we have got a detailed gap analysis. Each and every village, I'm not saying for the entire country, but for the selected villages, and then this exercise will be carried on. So this gap analysis can be used, to plan interventions for those areas. So this will be evidence-based policy making and program implementation. There is also focus in our ministry on providing capacity building support to Panchayati Raj institutions and other rural administrative bodies so that they become amenable to innovative implementation models in the vision of smart villages. So in India, role of Panchayati Raj institutions is very critical to the development of smart villages. Skilling and entrepreneurship are essential driving forces of economic growth and social development world over. Our ministry is implementing key schemes called National Rural Livelihood Mission and Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, which focus on providing entrepreneurship and skilling opportunities to rural population, including women, which have critical role to play in holistic development of villages. I'll not go into their details. It is very clear that going forward, developing smart villages with economically viable, culturally sensitive, and environmentally sensitive, sustainable ecosystem is of paramount importance. Integration of key interventions in infrastructure and service delivery, as well as extensive adoption of technologies suitable to local needs, is vital. And let me mention one thing, when we talk of technology, it doesn't always mean very advanced, very sophisticated technology. Sometimes in the context of the smart villages development, it may be a very, very simple tool, or some very simple technology. For example, we have found in some areas, a very, very rudimentary device developed by somebody in some villages. It's just washing the carrots and other vegetables. Just the process of cleaning them is fetching them much higher value, which is a smart way, but it is not a very sophisticated technology. So technology, it may, of course, will include ICT and other sophisticated technologies, but it will also include very, very simple technologies. Smart villages should be embedded in the wider development strategies of rural areas with active participation of rural communities. Smart villages cannot be developed in isolation. Technology, more so the digital technology, has great potential to bridge rural and urban divide and needs to be fully harnessed. Focus areas of the smart village initiatives are improved resource efficiency, empowered local self-governance, access to basic physical and social infrastructure, skilling and employment opportunities, and responsible individual and community behavior to build a vibrant rural society. This has potential to drive a vicious circle of economic and social growth and improve the overall livability of the village, which is the ultimate objective of developing smart villages. There is a need to develop few model smart villages which could serve as lighthouses for other villages across the country. Perhaps this is already being done in some parts of the country. And a key driver of these solutions could be the youth in the villages, the concerned villages, who may be provided with the platforms to be inventors, innovators, entrepreneurs, implementers, and thinkers for their local regions. One of the key challenges in developing smart villages is ensuring their sustainability. This can be addressed if we build a smart village strategy with entrepreneurship at its core. Thankfully, India has one of the most vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem that is working towards addressing rural development challenges using innovative technologies and business models. Today, we have social entrepreneurs that are addressing healthcare needs, delivering quality education, providing decentralized energy solutions, transforming agriculture productivity, providing drinking water and sanitation services, creating livelihood opportunities, and so on. The need of the hour is to integrate this approach for the smart village vision by identifying gaps in the existing entrepreneurial ecosystem and enabling entrepreneurs to participate in the development of small villages actively. To conclude, there is no doubt the task of developing smart villages in India is enormous. It is vitally needed, but it requires enormous planning as well as huge amount of not only financial, but also human and technical resources. Many government policies, both central government as well as state governments and programs, are already delivering critical building blocks for smart villages. Similarly, civil society is also engaged in the endeavor in different pockets across the country. Given that government resources, financial and human, as well as technical, are limited, government, private, voluntary, and cooperative sectors need to come together to help develop smart villages which would be sustainable in the long run. Thank you very much.